Hey, Charlie Macklin here. Today I want to show you a lettering technique using clear acrylic. It will simulate neon signage, but instead of using neon, we're going to use LEDs and clear acrylic rod. This is 3/8 square plastic. It's a clear acrylic from US Plastics. And we can bend this to shape and do a lot of really neat things with it. Let me warm it up with the torch here and I'll show you. It goes from clear to more clear, and that's how you know you've got the right temperature, and then you can bend it. If it has little bubbles in it, you've probably heated it a little bit too much. So as soon as you see little air bubbles inside of it, you know you're getting close to overcooking it at that point. So let's turn on our torch here. You could use propane. This one's a MAP gas. It's probably way hotter than what you need, but just a gentle propane flame, and pick a spot on it. We're just going to make an L. Whoa, see there? See how the bubbles already started in? See that? That's what happens when you go too fast. That's how delicate it really can be. We'll keep working on it, but now you know what I was trying to show you there. So just heat it gently, and eventually it will pick up a sort of a look where it's just really super clear. See if it'll bend yet. Not yet. I did a whole art piece this way. I don't have a picture of it handy, but it's pretty cool. Let's see if it'll bend yet. It's starting to get there. There we go. Well, that's not a very good bend. Let's heat it up a little more. Kind of relieve the stress of it. Wow, I'm doing a terrible job at this one. Gonna have to use two hands here. Okay, let that cool down and we'll go to step 2. So the next step, you mask off the all the edges except the bottom. So 3 of the 4 edges you would just mask off with masking tape. We did get some bubbles in there. I wouldn't recommend using MAP gas. You probably want to use propane. And when I've done it in the past and had better results is when you I like to hold the torch and move the torch around to sort of keep the flame from kind of mix air in with the flame. It can be done where it comes out pretty flawlessly, but it takes some practice. So now I'm just going to paint this bottom part of the L here with some reflective paints like silver, white, and maybe even throw a little blue in there. And then we'll do an experiment with some LED lighting and see what it looks like. Okay, so I went ahead and painted it, and while the paint was wet, you can carve little symbols in there if you wanted. You could, give it some variation. I mainly went with the white and the silver just because they're reflective colors. And let me give you an idea what happens when you put an LED light through it behind a dark surface. I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights out, and you can see what this would look like. Let me get my LED here. Check out how it just reflects right through, just like that. You could make neon signs like this. So notice the little symbols can show up, so you could, you know, if you wanted to add extra details, you could put that in there. And if you use a red, or if you use different paints, you can get different colors using light colored LEDs. But whatever color LED you hit it with is going to be the dominant color. So, but you could get subtle color variations by experimenting with different types of LEDs and different types of spray paints. I think it's got some potential for being a way to do signage that would be very low voltage. You want to have it on a nice dark background, and it has to be kind of a nighttime thing, because when you turn the lights on, you won't be able to see it much. It just doesn't really, yeah, with the lights on in the room, you can't, I mean, you can tell it's illuminating it, but it's really more of a nighttime kind of a thing. So anyways, LED of course stands for light emitting diode. Let me get an example of one and show you something about it. Here's a little red LED. So if you're going to build this into a sign, you would want to figure out the diameter of this LED, 5 millimeters or whatever it is, and then drill a hole right in the end of the plastic, and then sort of poke the LED in there. And then you'd have to wire it up and put the wires behind a black box or something to conceal them. LEDs have a positive and negative terminal. The negative terminal is usually longer than the positive one. That's the trick on them. And so if you wire them backwards, they won't do any lighting at all. They're usually 5.5 volts. If you put 9 volts through them, they'll burn out. Or at least these little ones from Radio Shack will. There's some stronger ones out there that can handle it. But another interesting thing about LEDs is they're actually photocells. During the daytime, they'll absorb solar energy and make a small electrical current. So they really do function both as a solar cell and also for lighting. And but yeah, a diode is a one-way valve basically. So electricity can only go through it one direction. That's why if you turn it backwards, it won't do anything at all. Oh, that's it for today. I may see if I can get this red one going and see if it does anything for this. Well, my red LED burned out, but I've got a real strong 12-volt white LED, and I went ahead and repainted it with some different colors so you can get an idea of what it would do. And notice it's just clear on all three sides except the back side. And you can get a layering effect when you use spray paint in different colors. So let's see what this is going to look like in the dark. Oh, it just brights it out with like pretty much pure white. The camera's not catching it, but you can definitely see the colors in person. The yellow jumps out the most down there at the bottom. But yeah, the camera it's washing out due to the backlighting. But you can tell that the principle does, oh there you go, kind of throttle it back a little. Looks like some kind of ritualistic situation going here. Raging fist of whatnot. Let's see if we can get the yellow. There's the yellow. So by varying the light intensity, you can end up getting different effects. Well, that's really just because of the camera. So in person, it looks a little more even. Well, anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good evening.